All right, we told you to keep watching. Well, the Taylor Factory Select Tour continues. We got 3 more models from our trip to the factory we're going to show you today, so stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you want to support the channel, visit our spring store link below for custom swag and check out our podcast, The Fretboard Confessional, wherever you get your podcasts. So we did a tour of the Taylor Factory. We got to pick out some woods with the man, Andy Powers. And we already shot a video for the first ones that came in because they've kind of been trickling in.
Yeah.
And we got more.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen that one, we haven't done this in a long time, but do the little thing. It'll pop up right there. So as a recap, we had a very traditional Dreadnought, Grand Pacific.
Very traditional.
Adirondack and Honduran, and we also had a very modern Black Limba Torrified Florentine Bad Boy that was very, very cool. So those are great. These are also great. We did, 11 total?
I think we did 12 total. Maybe it was 11. I know, if I recall correctly, this was the last one we picked woods.
That was the last one we picked woods for, and it was the only one that I think we picked all of the woods
pretty much everything other than the neck, yeah.
So on a lot of these, it was picking the back and sides and then saying, find us a really good set of Torrified Sitka or Cedar or whatever. But this one, if you want to just dive in, that one is incredibly special.
Yeah, so the whole time we'd gone through, they'd had some sets of Sinker Redwood sitting out there for us. And at that point, none of the builds that we had kind of gone in for were going to have Sinker Redwood. And I wanted to do something, and this wood was there. I was like, hey, we haven't done anything with this yet. Let's take a look. And so it was very cool because the other pieces of wood that we hadn't gone through yet were Bocote. Say it with me. Bocote.
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 Yeah.
So we picked out this wonderful set of Bocote, and it started to come together once you started to make some choices because the coloration of this matched very well with the very stripy nature of this Sinker Redwood top, and Andy concurred.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so just the coloration and the variation really just decided everything else. So we said, okay, if we're going to do this very chocolatey, very stripy guitar, there was a deal with this where it was going to, in order to accommodate what we wanted, it needed something. And we're like, okay, we're going to go with an ebony mini wedge right down the middle that's going to match ebony binding. And remember, that was Andy's on his mind. We're like, ebony mini wedge? He goes, ebony bound?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're all on the same page. So do that. Really a modern guitar with some wonderful visual aesthetics to it. Give it some modern appointments like the beveled armrest. And
also ebony.
Ebony bridge. And then sitting right there with the wood was this ridiculously figured ebony fingerboard. And like everything else with this guitar, that really gave us the direction of what kind of inlays we would do, which is very, very minimal. Yeah. Because like the rest of the guitar, we really want the wood to be showcased here and show off just this overall dark, chocolatey kind of aesthetic that's going on with it. Even with the ebony backstrap on the headstock and so forth.
So are those the 2.5 millimeter?
2.5 millimeter abalone dots. Yep.
So you got to have something that's marking it, but those let all the talking be done by the striped ebony. We picked fingerboards on like maybe 3 or 4 of them.
3 or 4, yeah.
Because, it just kind of works better with the wood to pick out a really interesting fingerboard. But that guitar was like kind of, I think when we were all leaving, like that's going to be one.
It was like the cherry on top. Yeah.
Now, I will say another thing about this guitar. In the coming weeks and the rest of the year, we're going to be doing a lot with Taylor's 50th anniversary. The 50th guitars that were from the first run came in the day before Chris and I left to the NAMM show. Mm-hmm. And so we said, right when we get back, that's going to be for sure first video we shoot is the 50th. All of the ones that we got that are live sold out immediately.
Yeah.
And so...
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. But we got more coming. We're going to probably shoot those next week. There's a lot of Sinker this year for the 50th on both the 8 and the 9, and it's really cool. We did our own run of Sinker 914s. We've done a lot with Sinker. It's fantastic wood, and there's a reason that they love to use it, and there's a reason we love to use it. That set is insane.
This is insane. Yeah. Yeah. We were hosted at NAMM, or prior to NAMM, at a Taylor Catch event. We've told you about that, where there's custom guitars and they had all of the 50th stuff out there. And there were a few that had some cool tops like this, but this is rare. This is a premium, unique piece of wood.
That one's sunk way lower than the rest of it. Let me tell you that real quick. That's the most sunk redwood I've ever seen. But yeah, there was a stack of sets, and that was the one that we were like, all right, that's the guy for the Bocote. Now, crazy guitar that we knew was going to be amazing.
Right.
The one that I think so far is like maybe my favorite that we've gotten is this very simple looking guy that I got right here that is wildly different from that one. One of the things we did our Grand Pacific without a pickup. That was just a choice that we made. We did this one without a cutaway, and I dig it so much. How often do you see a GA without a cutaway? You don't really that often.
No, and people, okay, I'm going to tell you right now, this PSA to everyone on the internet. We hear this all the time. How come there aren't ever any with cutaways? And the answer typically, even from our sales rep friends at Taylor, is they don't sell as well. Well, let's change that. Because
let's change that.
This is awesome. This is actually, and I said this before we were filming this part, very akin to a guitar I've dreamed about for a long, long time from Taylor. So.
This is a very counterintuitive guitar because it's got a few elements that are not seen super often. One being no cutaway,
right.
2 being cedar top, which one of our favorite models that is now discontinued was the 514.
Yeah.
You take a GA with a great cedar top, you're going where you need to go, just like the single ab bound sound.
Get you where you need to go.
Both of these have the rosette that's going to get you where you need to go, which is the
it.
single abalone ring with bound sound hole. But enough about the rosette, beautiful cedar top, like just gorgeous.
I want this cedar top to restore everyone's interest in cedar tops.
But if you're not interested enough with this no cutaway cedar top guitar,
just wait for it.
Let's get sassy real quick. We got an incredible set of sassafras on this thing. This is one of the 100% we're going in. We need to make a sassafras guitar. Of course, we saw this set and it was no brainer. But
the coloration on that, it's
insane. so cool. So the sassafras and the cedar, not a combination you see very often. I know one person out there that loves this combo because we've been talking about it for a long time.
And this was another one of those things where, as we were talking to Andy about it, he was really excited because we're like, how about cedar? He's like, yeah, that sounded really great, but what would you bind it with? Because there's always this, kind of aesthetic aspect to it. And it's like, well, why don't we do rosewood?
Yeah. And it fits so well. And again, I like when Taylor does bursts because Gibson created the burst, but Taylor they use it in the right way. I'm very glad that neither of these have a shaded edge burst.
We talked about it.
Yeah, we talked about it, but just not covering any of that up. Chris was pointing out it's got such an interesting kind of figure within there.
It's like circular chatoyancy.
Oh yeah. And then tell me the name of this inlay. Is that the split box diamond?
That's it.
Crazy.
Yeah, split box diamond crazy.
Crazy. It's a great looking inlay. We've seen this on some catch guitars and
stuff. It initially
was
done on a limited edition, I want to say 10 years ago-ish. And yeah, it's one of the more delicate and artistic inlays.
Yeah, really pretty. Of course, both of these got go-tos, got the back strap on there. And again, not like another guitar that wood speaks for itself.
Right.
It's not got Tree of Life or anything. I mean, this is awesome. So before I get into the next one, I will just say, I love the first two that came in. I love these ones so much. This so far is the one that's that's mine right there. I love this guitar. But
Uno más.
if you're like, man, these guys do
I've got
so
enough
many
acoustic
acoustics.
guitars.
So this is, to our knowledge, the first of a couple things.
Yeah.
One, the first custom that somebody was able to do in the new armrest format of the T5Z. But it is also, I think, the first Master Grade Koa T5Z custom.
That's it.
And
It's a custom.
this was even before we went to the factory. They sent us a photo of this top, and they're like,
"Look what just became available. What do you think? Would you like to do something with this?"
I would say this is maybe the only T5Z custom out there that's got what we like to call 90s Koa.
Yeah, for sure. With 90s inlay to boot.
Yeah. This is, I mean, we have the photos. If you've been on our website recently, Chris built out a whole section of the website that's the factory select hand-picked wood tailors that the ones that have come in have been filled out with our in-store photography. The ones that have not come in, you can see what the wood looked like the day that we picked it. Just looking at the set of that one, which we are leaving those photos on there, so you can still see the before. But this was like, it's like the tightest flame I've ever seen.
Super tight, incredibly like uniform flame. Like what we would call fiddleback almost. Like it's really insane with that really narrow light band of sapwood peeking through.
And this one does have a shaded edge burst because it releases out into that reveal binding.
That was one of the things when we were doing final specifications on it. We were like, do we want to do a burst on it? I mean, it's Master Grade Koa, and it's like, no, wait. The new models have this reveal binding that looks so incredible. Let's make sure we retain that. And I'm so glad we did, because the way the edge treatment, this chamfered reveal edge treatment is, again, it's like an echo of incredible wood.
Yeah. And the inlay, like Chris said, it's throwback.
Yeah, so it's the GA Limited inlay, which first showed up in '94 with the first Grand Auditorium models, but was used on the Koa series in the late '90s and is a favorite of mine. So.
Yeah, and of course, little go-to action, because why not?
Got to stay in tune, man.
You got to stay in tune. But it's a T5Z, and what they've done with the T5Z in the last year, I guess, that the armrest versions come out, we like them so much because the difference in the controls
kicked it up a notch,
and the feel and the comfort of it.
Yeah.
And they have remained extremely popular. The customs, the Koa ones that are in the standard line, I feel like have definitely been the most popular. So if you've been looking for one of those and you want a absolute one-of-a-kind,
truly
incredible
special
top, this is the one. So of course we had to do a T5Z.
This is what some other electric builders might call wood library, and even this is better than that. I'm just saying.
It's better, but I'm gonna demo all of these. One thing that I want to hit on this one before we jump in. One thing that I'm also noticing that I like is that there's one strap button on this guitar.
Yep.
Another great change in the refresh of the T5Z.
Yeah.
So whenever we record T5Zs or, in the past T5s and T3, whatever, we're going A-B because there are some sounds on here that are great for electric guitar and some that are more akin to an acoustic guitar, and you can use this guitar in either way. You can run it direct into a PA, go into a
This is really two
amp.
guitars, so when you want this, at the end of this video and you're like, honey, I have to have it, and she's like, what do you need with another guitar? Actually, it's two, so it's a huge value.
It's a huge value. It's incredible. You got an acoustic and electric. I'm going to go through all the pickup selections. However, one, everybody's going to EQ their guitar differently, and this is definitely a guitar that benefits from taking some time with it and EQing it properly. The bass and treble knobs both have a detent, so you can go right up in the middle. And I will say that the EQ sounded good one way through an electric guitar amp, and it sounded great a different way throughout the line output. But then Josh, as he was recording it, we're doing it simultaneously, he loved how it sounded with both of them blended, and that's absolutely a possibility.
Yep.
If you want to run an A/B and have your guitar amp on stage and then run through the house, it's endless possibilities.
Call me. We could talk what dry signal setups.
Let's talk about it, and then we can get an ampete in here. And
that'd be really awesome.
But so you'll hear me playing kind of the same thing on this guitar because it's the same demo, but then you could hear different ways that it was recorded by Josh and kind of, see the possibilities because, again, guitar meant to be played. This is a gigging guitar. This is made for people that are going to go out and use it in a live setting. So hear the ways, and then with these other two, just hear the acoustic.
I just did this to see how many people I would distract while you talked.
I was given important information there. Don't look at that. You'll see plenty of that when it's in your house. Cool. Let's take a listen.
So today I'm just framed by good wood.
Wouldn't be the first.
Amazing guitars.
Yeah.
And they sound very, very different. Let's talk about some of the aspects, particularly with the acoustic guitars. So I played that one first, and it gives you exactly what you would expect. Its looks really reflect its sound. Bocote is interesting because it's not a rosewood, it's not a Dalbergia. It's actually from the same family that Cidrecote is. And I think Cidrecote is very glassy rosewood-like. This is a little bit different. It's got that rich bass, but it's also got kind of a rich mid-range, kind of like Ovenkal does. And so I like that, and I think it pairs very well with a rich sounding top. So there's a lot of overtones, and there's just a lot of rich bass that comes out of that guitar, which is awesome. The Sassafras is a sassy guitar.
Yeah.
The aspect of this guitar is there's a certain brightness that Sassafras brings, but I've always described it as kind of somewhere between Koa and rosewood. It's got this like mid-range that's there, but it's a different frequency than you're used to. And it's got aspects on the treble side that's kind of like maple. It's very reflective. And we both noticed it's a loud guitar.
Yeah.
Played with a light touch with that cedar top, it responds almost immediately. And that reflective aspect of Sassafras just kicks it out there.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
On both of these, you can hear if you listen to the very tail end of the demos. Like on that one specifically, I hit a C major 7, and then you could hear like the harmony and harmonics of that chord just ringing out.
Yeah.
And this one was the same.
Like you kicked on a big sky pedal with some chorus or something.
Yeah.
It's great.
That one almost, to me, has this almost kind of piano-like quality. Like it's just right there. And then this one is this like warm, it's like putting on a Snuggie. And then
Snuggie guitar.
Yeah, Snuggie guitar. But they both look striking, and it's great to see, because I don't think that guitar would still be amazing, but it would not have worked as well with just a Sitka top or something. The Cedar is such a perfect
It really paired well with it. I've always liked, when they first started doing the Sassafras guitars, if you go back and look at some of the earliest videos I did with those when they were limited editions, it really was, I like the way this sounds, and it's really hard to describe the way it sounds.
Yeah.
And so far, everything I've liked it paired with has been nice, but Cedar might be my favorite. Is this the one where Andy was like, I think this was, right? He's like, I'd like to do Cedar on it. We're like, okay.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
So, good choice, Andy.
Good choice, and not to be outdone, the prettiest top I've ever seen on a T5z.
You know what's lacking in the electric guitar world? More Koa guitars.
We got a Koa thin line telly if anybody's interested. We got it up there.
But you know what I mean? They're few and far between.
Everybody's always talking about maple cap. I don't think so. All
You,
right.
you might see occasionally some Gibson will come out with Koa, and it's like $800,000 or something ridiculous.
Get yourself an Epiphone custom Koa.
And it never looks this nice.
Yeah.
I've seen some private stock PRS guitars with Koa tops, and they're very cool. I've never seen one that looked this nice. Like this really is a ridiculous top.
Yeah. And so for the T5Z, the player that's longing for their T5z, that's the nicest Koa one that we're ever going to have. And it's very cool. But for those of you that are Taylor collectors or just fans of great acoustic guitars with a very unique sound and like incredibly easy to play, straight out the box, were tuned and just sound amazing. These are the, the new in the running, because we have more coming.
Well, but these are one of one. These are the only ones. This is it.
And if they're gone, just let us know, because we are more than happy to work with you on putting something together. But I'm so happy with how these have been coming in.
Yep.
I think the response has been good. And there's a range, right? They're not all crazy $10,000 guitars.
Inexpensive.
Not inexpensive, but some of these are priced within the line of what you'd get in the 800, 900, in that range. And I think that they're really good value for being absolute one-of-one customs.
Yep, absolutely. So if they want more information with
you
photos and
go
specs,
to alamomusic.com, check out, because it's really fun to see. You can see that set and how it looked beforehand. It has not changed that much because it is just
a clear
made
finish.
into a guitar.
It's under guitars. At the far end of the menu is the Taylor Factory Select guitars.
Yeah, and we'll also link it in the video, because then you can kind of keep tabs on the ones that are just raw wood photos when they come in, see how we spec'd them out. But we, as you can tell, love talking about these guitars, and everybody here loves talking about these guitars. So if you have any questions, you want to talk customs, you want to see what else is coming, we're here. Chat with us on the website, or call us, email us, leave a comment. It's custom time, all right? So just let us know, and then you turn your notifications on YouTube, because we have so far shown you 5, but there's a whole mess of very cool customs coming in.
Can't wait to see what that walnut's like.
Have you ever heard of Queen's Walnut?
Spoiler alert.
It's coming. And on top of that, we got catch guitars from this year.
Yep.
Like, who cares about those? Because we didn't make those, but we chose them. So there's so much cool stuff coming. This is
custom time. That's better than Morphin time, by the way.
It's Morbin time. I dropped that one in there for the heads. So it's Morbin time, it's custom time. Whatever you want, we got it. And we're very excited about the stuff that we got in the store right now. Check out the photos. That's my spiel.
So check out the website, but also we'll be doing the reviews, so make sure you are subscribed. You turn on your notifications so you get the alert, bing, Chris and Cooper just released something new, and you can watch it. And also like the videos, because it helps other people discover our channel. And then it grows, and then we get to do more cool stuff for you.
And
it's all about you.
My last thing is, you're about to get hit with a bunch of cool customs that are, expensive. Don't lose hope, because there's also a lot of really good lower price stuff that, like, Taylor's doing this year with the 50th anniversary and some of the new stuff. They're not ignoring, and we're not ignoring the GS Minis and 100s and 200s, all that. There's something cool this year for every price range, and we're gonna be showing you that as well. So check it out.
Anyways, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.